Welcome back, guys. So we are live. It's obviously good to see everybody. What day is it? Is it Monday today? No, it's not. What day is it?
Wednesday.
Oh my God, what have I done? What a mare. So yes, it is a nice Wednesday. A lot of news. So firstly, we're going to be talking about the Fed. Just want to get that out of the way. But then also, there's a lot of good reason as to why Bitcoin might be about to jump. So very exciting. First things first, though, as always, AJ, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. You know, lots of bullish news coming in at the moment, which is good. Whether that's short term or long term, you know, we'll have to find out. But yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Good. And we're also seeing we're seeing a lot of whales buy a lot of Bitcoin as well. So we'll get into that
Yeah.
in a minute. I'm going to make this full screen for you guys. Should I drop us? Yeah, I'll keep us down here. So first things first, the Fed starts experiment of letting 8.9 trillion portfolio shrink. So as you guys know, before we went into the pandemic, the Fed, should we call it kind of like their portfolio, was around about $4.17 trillion. Now, they went and they printed loads of money, and with that money, they started buying up mortgage-backed securities and also then buying up treasuries. Now, as a result, they have a $9.8 trillion balance sheet. Now, what they're looking to do is to try and shrink this. And this is kind of the second tool in their tool belt to help try and combat the high inflation. So they have set higher interest rates, as we know, currently between 0.75, is it? Yes, 0.75 and 1.25. So there's talk about, where that's going to go, whether it's going to go, we know we have 2 basis point hikes, 250 basis point hikes, I should say, for June and July. But is that going to go further? We just don't know. But anyway, so like I said, past 2 years of pandemic, doubled in size. Now the Fed what they're going to do is they are going to begin reducing this at a rate of $47.5 billion. And that's 30 in treasuries and 17.5 in mortgage-backed securities until September. And then that 45 or 47.5 is going to increase. It's basically going to double to $95 billion per month, which is pretty crazy. So this is just, I want to go through, there's nothing else I highlighted here. This is so you know what they're doing. They're having a two-pronged approach in kind of making sure that they can combat this high level of inflation that we're in, 8%. And these are the two ways they're doing it: raising interest rates and then also selling their $8.9 billion portfolio. Now, one of the key bits of information we have to be aware of, just to quickly run through this, is on Friday, so in 2 days' time, we have the non-farm payrolls and the unemployment rate. Now, this is basically how many new jobs were added outside of the, I guess, like farming sector. Where exactly is it? So, yes, on employment hours, basically outside of the agriculture and things like this. So think of like office jobs, should we say. So we're looking at a forecast 325K, and previously it was 428. So we're looking for a better employment industry, should we say, or employment rate. And this is one thing that's going to be quite key, is because the Fed have said, look, we just want to make sure that employment doesn't really get affected too much. But employment probably will have to go up, because in order for, if the Fed are, and I want to explain this quite clearly, so I'm going to cancel this. But so we have two kind of scenarios. If the Fed increase the interest rate, so that means companies are going to be borrowing less. As a result of borrowing less, they're going to have less R&D, they're going to have less hiring, they might go into cost-cutting mode. Now, if they do this, obviously, they have less money to pay for it because the rate is higher. So there's going to arguably be less employment. So people might start letting people go. They're not hiring as much. And so this is going to mean that the unemployment rate will increase in the US. And this is something that they don't really want. So they want to try and balance that. So they could just go for a massive interest rate hike, but then that would mean mass unemployment. And that's not good for the economy. So what they really want to do, and this is why they did that 8.9 trillion beginning selling off at, was it 47.5 billion per month, trying to get that balance sheet down, is because that is another way they can combat inflation without doing a massive rate hike, as we saw in 1970s, I believe. So I just wanted to kind of, throw that in there. And this was just going to quickly show. So, when we see that interest rate hikes, they were pretty much stable, or interest rates were stable from like 2017. And then around this time, we had the COVID crash. Here we go. Everyone knows this is where we had that $4 trillion begin to be, promised, and then it wasn't really printed and introduced into the system. But as it was over these months after the COVID crash, we then see the price of Bitcoin just absolutely skyrocket. And this is actually total market cap of cryptos, though. Second bit of news that I want to introduce, Russian central banks want crypto for international trade, not for citizens, which I think is quite interesting. I don't think it's going to float well with them doing trade with people like the US or maybe UK or anything like this. But within the countries that Russia is very close to, I can see this being being quite useful. So the Russian central bank had previously called for a blanket ban on crypto, but now it sees no issue with using cryptocurrencies for itself to wriggle out of sanctions. Obviously, sanctions are going to give them quite a clear change of mind on this. And then finally, AJ, I'm just going to wrap up with this and then let you jump into some of these technicals. But what we can see here is over the past couple of days, so this is only within, the small whales. I can go to the, the full whales. But see, there's quite a steep jump up in terms of the whales actually accumulating Bitcoin. So we can have a look into here. So this was over the past 27, that's like 4 days. So the Bitcoin price, when the Bitcoin price was extremely low, 28,600, the number of Bitcoins that were purchased, we see that massively continue. So that's the wallet inflows, as you see here. And it's a similar story, really, across, these are not necessarily all of just the whales, but even these slightly smaller. So, holding 100 Bitcoin is still a lot of Bitcoin, but we're seeing these massive inflows across all of the wallet sizes. And this gives me some confidence that after whales kind of distributing their coins and kind of buying up some altcoins or moving into cash, that now there's a little bit of confidence that they can kind of begin buying again. And that's been seen across all of the different levels of holders. So,
and when whales are buying, that's when we want to sort of copy what they're doing. We want to buy as retail investors. We want to buy when investors are buying, because they always know a little bit more than we do usually.
Yeah.
So it's always better to follow them.
And it's also, just like you said there, AJ, it's all, they probably do know a lot more than us. They have a lot more resources, because I definitely don't I don't have over 1,000 Bitcoin, or even 10,000. I wish I did, but, I don't. But the people who do, and some of the biggest whales are some of the big institutions and also some of the big companies. Yeah. So, you're looking at the likes of Tesla, MicroStrategy, etc. So, yeah, they obviously have some inside information.
Yeah, and they have the ability to sort of manipulate the market as well, which retail investors like us do not have the ability to do. So when they are buying, it's always a great opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Now, because there hasn't really been too much. There's been that little bit of on-chain data that's kind of showed us a bit of, should we say, positivity for Bitcoin. But technically, how are we looking? Because I know we had a bit of a breakout. And to be honest, I'm looking at your chart now. I'll bring us again back down to the bottom here. We had that like two kind of consecutive breakouts, look like a bit of almost like a flag, like the pole, and then again another pole. But we're forming this diamond shape, I see.
Yeah. So as you said, we had this breakout. We've seen some nice price action towards the upside. And what I said in yesterday's stream is that I would be expecting a slight period of consolidation or potentially a pullback. And, we are seeing that consolidation here, and we are, like you said, forming that diamond formation, which I will get onto in a moment. But you can see the indicators. The stochastic RSI, the stochastic, and the CCR. They're starting to to come sort of further down. The stochastic RSI, that's already at the bottom, but the RSI is still very, very overbought. So we could expect some more consolidation or price action towards the downside. But what will give us an indication on where the price is going to be going is most likely going to be this diamond pattern here, which I have found on the 1 hour. Now, just to show you what a diamond pattern is, usually they tend to be more bearish than bullish, but they can, turn out to be a bullish pattern. So we do have that, diamond pattern in the middle, and then you have the initial break out to either the downside or to the upside, and you take the body of the diamond as the price target. So you can see on the 1 hour chart, we have, a textbook diamond pattern, and we are on literally the verge of, breaking either to the upside or to the downside. We're getting squeezed right into the end of the diamond. And, this could give us a price target. If we did break to the downside, it would give us an approximate price target of approximately $30,600 ish, and that would bring us back down to this support level, previous resistance, now support. I'll just change that to support. There we go. So this will, act as support because there's been very strong resistance in the past. So I'm looking for Bitcoin to hold support if we do break towards the downside. Now, bullishly, if we do break, to the upside out of this diamond pattern, we could see Bitcoin back above 32,000, approximately $32,500 ish. I don't see that happening as a possibility, but if we do, continue to see the price increase, I think, on the 4 hour, we're still very overextended on the RSI. I think, we need the RSI to come back a little bit more. If we do see more price action towards the upside, then I think the pullback is going to be bigger. So if we were to get a pullback now, a nice pullback down to the support level and bounce off there, I think that would be much better for Bitcoin rather than the price coming up and then seeing that bigger correction. But we can't say we can't tell Bitcoin what to do. It just does what it wants to do. So I'm just waiting for this breakout as of right now. If we break to the upside, looking for the price to come up to around $32,500. If we break to the downside, then we'll most likely come down to the support level. Holding the support would be great. Yeah.
I was going to say, I've got a question. So, how, obviously, if you take us back a couple of days ago, to last week or something like this. Just kind of zoom out on that chart here. So, obviously, a lot of talk was around that bottom level of resistance that we're seeing there at around 29,000, that we were kind of hovering. Yeah, that kind of area there. How do you feel about that area now that we've had, we had one break past the downward trend line, and then that was kind of a catalyst in terms of us hitting the resistance, but then consolidating at the resistance and then bouncing above. What's your view on that 28,000? We'll call it 28. I know it's not quite, but what's your view on that lower level of support now?
Well, obviously, it's very strong support. If we come back down to that level, we'll have to break, lots of support. This support here will have to break, and then this white support here would have to break that. So, I don't really see the price coming back down to that support level anytime soon. If we did come back down to it, then there'll be a high possibility that we could break it because we've tested it so many times. We've broken all the resistance we've wanted to break. But coming back down to that, I think that would be incredibly bearish. But what I'm looking for right now is actually on this chart. I'm looking for this weekly candle, to hold this major support level. If we can hold this major support level, then I'm looking for the price to come up to around that $37,000 level. So this support here, yes, it's very, very strong support, on the shorter time frame. I don't see the price coming down to that level, anytime soon. I'm looking for the price to come up to around that $35,000 level. So I'm not looking for the price to come back down to that level, but in the short term, I think we do need a pullback back to this support level here, previous resistance level here, to continue that price action towards the upside, because we are so overly extended.
Perfect. That's good.
Yeah. And just to take a look at the dominance as well, the dominance I mentioned, I think, it was last week or maybe a week and a half ago, I mentioned this dominance. I was looking at the price. If we broke out of this falling wedge, I was looking for the price to come up to between 47% and 48% approximately. And, we're very, very close to that level. At this level, because it's on a weekly, and we've seen, pretty strong rejections at this level before, this is what is it, this is another signal for me, that we might be coming into a bottom, because when we find that bottom, as you've said in previous videos, we normally see the money coming into Bitcoin first, then it goes into Ethereum, and then it will go into altcoins. If we find strong resistance here and we see a rejection, that's another confirmation that we could have already hit the bottom, because people have found confidence in the crypto market again, and they are starting to get back into those riskier altcoins, Ethereum and all the other altcoins. So seeing a rejection here would actually signal to me that a potential bottom has already been in play. It's not always certain, but once we see that, then there's confidence back in those altcoins, and then ultimately there's just confidence in the whole market. So I think that would be great news if we can see a rejection here, and that's when we can start looking at getting into the altcoins. I know at the moment I've only been talking about Bitcoin, and that's because personally what I'm doing is putting everything I have into Bitcoin, because at the moment it is the safest thing to be in. But yeah, once we see a rejection at this level, that's when I'll start, looking at the technicals of altcoins. But we can have a quick look at Ethereum. That's actually, I don't want to go into it too much, but we are, bouncing off this very, very strong key support level that I've been talking about. You can see in the past, we've had so much support along this level. We've had so much resistance along this level. So finding support here is no surprise to me. Now what we want to look to is coming back up to this first key support level, which we did break, and we are now going to use that as resistance.
Perfect. And to be honest, just like you said, we can't really be focusing too much on the altcoins. I know some of you guys. We'll take some notes in terms of some of the coins that you do want us to do, because we'll begin. Let's do this. Leave a comment if you want us to do like a deep dive on one particular coin. The first one that we're going to do is going to be Ethereum, just for the sake of it being quite a high cap. We also have the merger coming out, so make sure you hit the bell notification for that. But there are a lot of really good coins out there. Do I think that the top 10 in 10 years' time is going to be the same? Absolutely not. I think there's going to be a load of coins that we don't know about. And obviously we want to try and find those, but that's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? Take a mortgage, buy a house, take all the money out, and then buy as many of these, these shit coins that you can. Maybe not shit coins, but just very low cap, if you know that they're going to be, a number one or a number two contender. But no one knows. No one knows.
Yeah, no one knows. Someone did ask a question. How did your live trade go, AJ? I did want to go live and show you, because I want to start going live and showing you, my trades live. Unfortunately, I've been having problems with my Wi-Fi. Once that's sorted, then I will, start going live. But last time I tried to do it, I was having really bad problems with my Wi-Fi. So when I get that sorted, I will let you know.
Do you want to tell them what happened to your Wi-Fi?
Yeah, so a car, a BT box at the end of the road, and a car crashed into it. So we blame it. Luckily, everyone was all right, but ruined my few weeks.
I would have gone out there and I'd have been like, mate, you just knocked out my internet. I can't trade crypto anymore.
I should have.
If he wasn't injured from the car, and it would have been after I left.
Yeah, luckily it was all right.
Yeah, that's good. So look, look, guys, that's everything for today. If you have any more questions, quickly drop them in.
Yeah.
But yeah, the
MRE
overview.
said, would you prefer to see it go down and tap that previous resistance? Yes, I would, because then all the indicators can reset and then we can continue to the upside.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not
And also,
it's not confirmed that we will though, but that's
no.
what I'd like to see.
But we just want that bounce, We want to be able to
Yeah,
like kind of have. I mean, it does look like we almost have had that. But yeah, guys, keep in mind Friday's going to be extremely volatile for all the markets. So if you do
yeah,
trade traditional markets, just watch out. There's big news that always affects it. It's the first Friday of every week. Every month. So yeah, look out for that data in terms of employment. That is going to be very, very important. So, and I think that will also give people an idea as to how the Fed might act after they've done their 250 basis point hikes. So yeah, keep an eye on that. Trade safe, guys, and we will see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, guys. Thank you for watching. Smash that
Thank
like
you.
button.
Yeah, but make sure that you follow us over on Twitter as well.
Yes.
Satoshi Society, and this is where AJ is going to be dropping all his TA.
Yeah.
All right.